Hava, Nagila, Hava, Nagila, Hava, Nagila ונשמחה. Hava, Nagila, Hava, Nagila, Hava, Nagila ונשמחה. Hava נרננה, Hava נרננה, Hava נרננה ונשמחה. Hava נרננה, Hava נרננה, Hava נרננה ונשמחה. ורוחים, ורוחים בלב שמח, ורוחים בלב שמח, ורוחים בלב שמח, ורוחים בלב שמח, ורוחים, ורוחים בלב שמח. Hava, Nagila, Hava, Nagila, Hava, Nagila ונשמחה.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. I'm Rabbi Barry Silver, and on behalf of congregation L'Dor Va-Dor, it is my great pleasure to welcome you and invite you to celebrate the Shabbat with us this week and every week. The theme of our Shabbat celebration today is going to be, how can we come closer to God? How do we even know if God exists? What is God? And if there is such a power, how do we come closer and align ourselves with that power so that we can feel the surge of power and inspiration within us? That perhaps is the most important religious question of our time. We will be tackling it here this Shabbat. And if you'd like to know more, contact us anytime. To help us in this enterprise, we have two people who are well equipped to embark on this journey with us and help lead the way. Arnie Pickholtz, he is celebrating his 75th birthday and his 50th wedding anniversary with Sandy Pickholtz. Sandy will be leading us in the candle lighting, and Arnie will be leading us in the Kiddush. Arnie is the person who's responsible for making this happen. He's our director, our producer. He puts together this Shabbat celebration. Something else I'd like to mention about Arnie. By the way, Sandy is so wonderful. She's an inspiration to him, to me, and she's right there by his side making things happen. And we appreciate her support. I just want to share with you something else about Arnie. Most people, if they hit the ripe old age of 75, they'd say, you know, I've done enough. I'm ready to retire. I don't have to work anymore. But in his community, they were going to wipe out and eradicate 272 mahogany trees at a cost of hundreds of thousands of dollars to the community. It would have been a disaster. Most people would have just shaken their head and say, oh, how terrible. I wish there was something I could do. But he did something. He fought back. He organized. He educated. He litigated. And guess what? Those trees are still standing there today, and his community has not had to shell out those hundreds of thousands of dollars. He's inspiring other people to get involved and to do the right thing, to protect Mother Earth, to protect nature. We need mahogany trees and hardwood trees to stave off climate change. And if everybody did their part, imagine what the world could be. And that, my friends, is how we get closer to this powerful, creative, energetic force within the whole universe and within us, by doing good things, by protecting nature, by never just sitting back and feeling like there's nothing I can do, but to feel the power within you to make a change. And when you exercise that power, you align yourself with it. I'm so glad that we have him to help us to share this wonderful Shabbat celebration with us. And so now, let the celebrations begin.
Come, let us welcome Shabbat and give thanks for its light. May our homes shine with the lights of Shabbat and our hearts glow with Shabbat joy this week and every week. We welcome Shabbat and give thanks for its light. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvosav v'tzivanu lahadlek ner shel Shabbat.
May we be blessed with Shabbat joy. May we be blessed with Shabbat peace. May we be blessed with Shabbat light.
Shabbat Shalom.
The Kiddush is one of the central rituals of Shabbat. For many people, the words and the melody of the Kiddush evoke some of the most meaningful Jewish memories.
Reciting the Kiddush is a fulfillment of the biblical command to remember the day of Shabbat and keep it holy.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri hagafen.
Amen. There is another toast I'd like to propose for Arnie and I to do right now. These are our two memories of our wedding anniversary from March of 1971. And my sister gave us these glasses, which are actually engraved. So we can't forget the date, even though sometimes we can't believe how many years have passed. And I'd like to just say a few words about our golden anniversary, which is a pretty impressive milestone that we never thought we'd get to, but we're so glad we did. We've been on an amazing journey these past 50 years, had countless adventures for sure. 2 wonderful children, grown children now, and 4 amazing, terrific grandchildren as well. To quote, or really to paraphrase something that I read from Oscar Wilde, he said, "You don't love someone for looks, for money, for material things, but you love them because they sing a song only you can hear." Happy 50th. Cheers.
Ananai lecha dodi, ananai likrat kala, ananai pene Shabbat, Shabbat nekabela. Ananai lecha dodi, ananai likrat kala, ananai pene Shabbat, Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri, hitoreri, hikiva hore, kumi ori, uri uri, shir dabiri, kivod Hashem, alayich niglav, lo tevoshi, lo tikami, matish tochachi, matemi, bach yechesu, ani ami, venivneta, hiratila, ananai lecha dodi, ananai likrat kala, ananai pene Shabbat, Shabbat nekabela, ananai lecha dodi likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Boi vishalom, ateret bala, gam b'simcha uvitzala, tochem hunei am sigula, boi chala, wo boi chala.
As I mentioned, our theme tonight is how do we get closer to God, and what is God? What is this feeling that we're talking about? We now have a series of prayers that we are going to share with you. In ancient days, people would pray to God They felt they had no control over their lives. They had no idea why people got sick, why the earth opened up, why hurricanes came, why famines came. They had no idea. And so they prayed to some divine entity and hoped that if they made sacrifices or said the right words, something good would happen, they'd be protected. And it made them feel a sense of calm if they really believed it, and they really believed the supernatural power was looking up and looking out for them. For me, never did the trick. My father raised me to think rationally, not to believe in supernatural beings. So how does somebody like me, or perhaps you if you're in the same boat, how do we feel closer to this creative power that's all around us and within us? How do we do that? Well, we can still use prayers, we just use them in a different way. You see, some people have said that science is informed worship. In other words, the more we understand about how incredible and amazing this universe and world is, and how amazing our bodies are, and all the miracles around us, the more spiritual we feel, the more profoundly grateful we feel, the more transcendent we feel when we're in touch with that. So how do we do that? We contemplate the world through our understanding, through science. We comprehend the world through the joy and the beauty of music that can make us feel a sense of oneness and a sense of joy and uplift. We started out with Hava Nagila, which means let us rejoice. Joy and spiritual uplift are interrelated. And when we are joyful, we feel spiritual, and when we're spiritual, we are joyous. So the prayers are another way of triggering this feeling within us to make us contemplate the wonders and the numinous around us with music, and also with joining together with other people we care about and love in a congregation. This helps us make the world seem and actually feel as if there is a power permeating everything. And this feeling is real. What our ancestors experienced. They might not have understood exactly what was going on, but the feeling they experienced was a feeling of transcendence, and it was real and powerful. And we can feel it too. So let us join in these wonderful prayers.
ברכו את אדוני המבורך, ברכו את אדוני המבורך, ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד, ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
If you're lost, you feel afraid, and you don't know what to say, then listen to your heart. Is there a question in your mind? Is the answer hard to find? Then listen to your heart. Listen with all your heart and soul and with all your might. Let your conscience lead you on a path that's truthful and is right. Every morning, every night, close your eyes and listen to your heart. And listen to your heart.
Adonai, Shifratai Tiftach, Ufi Yagi Tehilatecha. Adonai, open my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch Atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו ואהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם, בעזרת שרה.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם, ברית עולם, ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם, ברית עולם, ברית עולם.
Carrying on with our theme, how can we get closer to God? First, maybe we should actually explain, what is God? Well, God could be explained as some being out there who is watching over us and making sure everything is going to happen properly. And he's going to answer our prayers. To many people, this just doesn't work anymore. You know, if 6 million Jewish people were praying with everything they had for a supernatural being to save them, and he didn't bother saving them, why would we think that this being is going to save us? Might as well look elsewhere. But where could we look? Let's look to reason and common sense in the findings of science. We know that there is a creative power that generated life from non-life on planet Earth. It also took a singularity and made it into the entire cosmos. It also took a cell, which we started out as, and made 100 trillion of them to make us, to form each one of us and every living thing on the planet. This is something that is real. This is something that we don't need to just believe, we can actually know. But how do we get in touch with that? How do we actually sense the fact that we're part of all of this and this creative spark is within us? We know it is, but how do we feel it? That takes moments of reflection. You see, if we're just running around doing all of our errands and not really thinking or contemplating, we'll never experience our true nature, our true miraculous, creative, wondrous nature. But if we take a few moments of silence and contemplate our blessings, our gifts, our loved ones, how fortunate we are to be in this country and to have enough to eat, if we think about all these blessings, it can get us in touch with this power that surges within us, if only we know how to tap into it. So let us now spend a few moments in silent meditation, and let this be just the beginning of more such wonderful moments of transcendence. As we spend time in silent meditation, we also contemplate those who are ailing and what we can do to help them feel a little better during their ordeal and experience of a recovery to good health.
מי שברך אבותינו, אברהם, יצחק ויעקב. מי שברך אמותינו, שרה רבקה, לאה ורחל. May the one who blessed our mothers, may the one who blessed our fathers, hear our prayer, hear our prayer. Hear our prayer, hear our prayer, and bless us as well. Bless us with the power of your healing. Bless us with the power of your hope. May our hearts be filled with understanding and strengthened by the power of your love. Bless us with the vision for tomorrow. Help us to reach out to those in pain. May the warmth of friendship ease our sorrow. Give us courage, give us faith, show us the way. Mi shebeirach avotenu, mi shebeirach imotenu. Hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer. Hear our prayer and bless us as well.
Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah, Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah, Le'amo Yisrael B'kedushato.
Yisrael, Yisrael, ve'oraita charu. Yisrael, Yisrael, ve'oraita charu. Torah ora, Torah ora, Hallelujah. Torah ora, Torah ora, Hallelujah. Yisrael, Yisrael, ve'oraita charu. Yisrael, Yisrael, ve'oraita charu.
It's now time for us to read from the Torah. The Torah also helps us to get closer to this creative power within us that some call God. How does it do that? If we look to the Torah as the answer to all of our questions, and the Torah as the source of scientific knowledge and the source of all of our morality, we will be sadly forlorn and mistaken. We will not find it there. In the Torah, we will find our first step towards morality and ethics and understanding of the universe and our place in it, not our last. It would be if you were trying to figure out the best way to get from here to California. You could take the first plane ever invented by the Wright brothers, which was an incredible, miraculous, wondrous discovery, an invention that changed the course of history. The people who devised it, Orville and Wilbur Wright, should be praised to the skies, literally. But we wouldn't want to take their plane and go to California. It wouldn't make it. Rather, we'd rather go on a 747. Similarly, the Torah should be praised and thought of with such gratitude because it launched us on an enterprise towards spirituality. But it is not our final step. It was our first step, filled with missteps and misunderstandings. But we cherish the Torah because it represents the beginning of our journey towards spirituality. Let us look at the Torah in this way and also recognize that each one of us has a mind, a precious, incredible mind, to explore the Torah and interpret it in ways that make sense to us, aided through reason and science and knowledge and scholars. Let us examine the Torah in that way. And if we do, it will bring us closer to holiness. We are reading from Va-Yikra, the very, very beginning of the third book of the Bible.
Baruch hu et Adonai Mavorach. Baruch Adonai Mavorach L'olam Vaed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Amen. Vayikra el Moshe, vayidaber Adonai elav me'ohel moed, and God spoke to Moses at the tent of meeting, and he said, Daber el bnei Yisrael va'amarta alehem, speak to the children of Israel and say to them, Arim ki yakriv mikem kurban ladonai min habehema min habakar umin hatzon takrivu et kurbanachem et olah karbano. When you bring a sacrifice to the Lord, whether it be of the cattle or the sheep or the goats, you shall bring it to the holy altar as a burnt offering. Min habakar zachar tamin yakrivenu el petach ohel. It should be a male without blemish, and you shall bring it close to the tent of meeting. Yakriv oto lirtzono lifnei Adonai v'samach yado ahosh ha'olah. And you shall bring it before God and place your hand upon the head of the sacrifice that you are making. V'nirtza lo lechaper elav v'shochet et ben habakar. And there you shall slaughter this animal in order to make sacrifice to the Lord. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Amen.
A child was once at summer camp and he felt a little sick, so he went to the nurse. The nurse gave him some aspirin and said, "You're going to be fine. And do you know that you've been here for 33 days and you haven't had any sickness yet? You're doing pretty well." The kid contacted his parents and said, "Guess what? The nurse said I'm sick and my days are numbered." You know what, my friends? Each one of us, our days are numbered. We're allotted a certain amount of time on this earth, but very often we act as if our time here is unlimited. And so we feel that each day doesn't really matter. It's just another day out of many. And we don't have to do anything to make this day special or to make it count. The purpose of Shabbat is to indicate the preciousness of time, that time moves on and that each day is precious, and Shabbat especially is a time to recharge our batteries and to try to get closer to this wondrous feeling within us that our ancestors interpreted as communion with God. What is this feeling and how do we achieve it? That was the message, that is the message that we've been discussing this entire Shabbat. And the story reminds us that one of the ways that we can feel a kinship with the power that's transcendent, that's beyond us and within us. You could think of God as that power, that creative force that is beyond all, greater than all, within all, including us, and uniting all. How do we get in touch with that power? By recognizing that we are part of this entire cosmos and part of the entire chain of life. And that we've been evolving for billions of years in a connection with life forms that we don't even know about. We emerged from reptiles and from fish and from other primates, from amoebas in a spectacular fashion. We are miracles. And when we recognize that and realize that and realize the incredible good fortune that we have just to be here, it elevates us. And that's what Leviticus means. We start with the book Leviticus because Leviticus means to lift up, to elevate. Also, the name in Hebrew is Va-Yikra. Va-Yikra means and you are called. You see, the Jewish people feel that we are called. Our ancestors believed that a divine being actually called us among all the peoples. I like to think that perhaps we felt a calling, and we're the ones who generated this feeling that we should be called to do good. How can we feel closer to God? By helping other people recognize that we're all one family, and to recognize that there's this power called love that can transform our lives, a power that can join us together with all living things. This power of love. We've been called as Jewish people to try to spread that. And guess what? When we share this knowledge, this joy, this fellowship with other people, we feel spiritualized and charged. I don't know about you, but especially when I've been with people of other faiths and interfaith gatherings, or meeting with Christians and Muslims and atheists and Baha'i, and joining people together of other cultures, something wondrous happens. It's like a magic elixir, and we feel closer to each other. And when that happens, we feel closer to spirituality. Va-Yikra means that the Jewish people feel that we've been called. And when we respond to the call, that's when we are elevated, and that's when we feel like our lives have meaning and purpose. The sacrifices that were made were called korban. Korban means to come closer. And so the sacrifice was felt as a way to get closer. In ancient days, our people, like all peoples in the Middle East, thought that God was like a superhuman. He was anthropomorphized. He was viewed like a human being with great human qualities, but even more so, ways that we didn't quite understand, but he still resembled humans. Therefore, the passage today in Va-Yikra, I only read a short portion of it. Do you know why? The rest of it was too grisly and gruesome and grotesque to describe. They go into utter horrific detail about how you slaughter an animal and kill an animal, thinking that killing a poor, defenseless, innocent animal is going to help you in some way. This is seen as barbaric today. If we were witness to that, we would be appalled. So should we just reject it and say the Torah has no place for us? Absolutely not. Our ancestors were trying their best to understand our place in the universe and what these powers were that started everything and maintained everything, and trying to have a sense of oneness with it and trying to align themselves. That's why korban means to come closer. They wanted to get closer to it. This was the best they could do. They saw God wreaking havoc and violence around the world and all over with floods and plagues and famines and disease. They had no idea why, but they just thought God wants some kind of blood He's violent, so we'll offer him up blood to appease him, and maybe that will make him love us. Today we've grown so much. We've emerged so much. Some of us realize that Judaism has evolved. Some of us, some Jews think, no, that really is God. God wrote this. This is God's word. This is the epitome, the height that we can achieve. But many Jews believe that this was just our first step. But does that mean we toss it aside? Absolutely not. Would we toss aside the very foundations of our democracy and say the Constitution is worthless? Absolutely not. We cherish it. And we cherish it because people gave their lives to try to pass this vision of a better world on to us. But what can we do? How can we interpret that? Sacrificing an animal is not a good idea, but sacrificing of our time, of our energy, of our resources to make the world better, it makes us feel wondrous. I'm sure that everyone listening has had the experience of doing something good to help another person and just feeling elevated by it. How do we come closer to spirituality and to this wondrous force within us that we share with all people? By reaching out to other people and establishing our common bonds, by sacrificing of ourselves and giving of ourselves to others. This is such a great way of doing that. How do we get closer to other people? Here's the ultimate sacrifice, my friends. Sacrifice the person we are today to become the person we could be tomorrow. It's scary. We got to get rid of some of our bad habits, and then new ones can rush in and take its place. How do we feel spiritual and elevated? By having the courage to say there's certain things in us that we can change and do better. By getting rid of those things and replacing them with something else, other habits that are better. Some people think that the way to get closer to God is to come into a synagogue or to put on, in these times, a Zoom service. That is not enough. Walking into a synagogue doesn't make us more Jewish any more than walking into a garage makes us a car. We can't be a Jew by sitting in a synagogue. We can't be a car just by spending time in a garage. We need to do more than just being there. We need to be active. We need to be involved. We can't just be observant. We need to be active. How do we do that? By taking what the Torah is saying to heart. Try it this week. Give of yourself. Do something for someone else. Align yourself with a good cause. Join the Sierra Club. In this month of International Women's Month, join now. Join Planned Parenthood. Help empower women. Help make the world a better place by family planning and dealing with this horrific problem of overpopulation, of human beings populating themselves so much that we drive out every other species, and there's not enough food and water for all of us. Invest your time. Sacrifice of yourself. Make this world a better place. Join with us at L'Dor Va-Dor. Be part of a congregation. Be part of a congregation that believes that religion should actually make sense. That it should actually be based on reason and science and knowledge. A congregation that believes that science doesn't drive us away from spirituality. Science, music, art, love, sacrifice, these are the best ways we know to transcend ourselves and to link ourselves with something greater, a force and a power that has existed since time immemorial and formed and shaped you and me and everything else. That's what Va-Yikra is all about. Join with us each week as we come closer. Korban means to get closer. We never get there exactly. We will never be 100% aligned with this force that we seek. But if we use reason and allow the Torah to evolve and allow ourselves to evolve and change for the better, then we will find the way to align ourselves with that power that was felt in the heart and the mind of our ancestors, which we feel today, which we are coming closer and closer to unifying with as we unify with all other people and all other living things. Va-Yikra. We are called not only to feel this power within us, but to help the world experience this understanding and transcendence that all of us are one. And we are all part of one human family, linked together with all living things. Shabbat Shalom.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי ארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
We saw an amazing video about the Maharaj from India who saved Jewish people during the Holocaust. When we read the Kaddish, we remember that there are people who came before us, incredible, inspiring people. If we stand on their shoulders, if we learn from them, if we're inspired by them, if we continue their efforts to make the world better, then we link our lives with theirs. And in that way, we can become more powerful agents for good. And as we link our lives with theirs and also pass on our understanding to future generations, then we become closer to God. Because what is God if only a power that permeates all living things? And as we join with our predecessors and those who will come after us, we feel connected, we feel a link, and we feel more spiritual. As we read the Kaddish, let us just ponder all of the people who saved others during the Holocaust, the martyrs of our people, and the people who right now during the pandemic are doing so much to help other people in so many ways by delivering food and goods and curing people and helping people and teaching people. Let us join our efforts with theirs, and let us be inspired by our loved ones in order to continue their good works, their dreams and their hopes within us as we read the Kaddish. Yiskedal v'yiskadash shemer Rabba v'yalma divrach ruseh v'yamlich ma'chuseh v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayeh l'chol beis Yisrael v'agala v'yizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shemer Rabba mivorach la'olam ulmei omaya yisbarach v'yishtabach v'yischoar v'yisromam v'yisnaseh v'yisadar v'yisalev v'yisalal shemer keresha b'rechu Le'elam inko birchasa v'shirasa tushbechasa v'nechamasa da'amiron bi'ama v'imru amen. Yehi shlam araba min shmaya v'chayim aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mamath hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the source of peace and comfort bring peace and comfort to all who mourn. And let us say, Amen.
Shabbat Shalom, and thank you for viewing our L'Dor Va-Dor Shabbat tonight. We at L'Dor Va-Dor want to unite all Jews and those interested in Judaism together in harmony and peace, mending our differences and making this a better world for all of us. We're building the Judaism of tomorrow, today. It's a rational-based Judaism that honors our traditions, respects science, and celebrates spirituality. We'd love for you to join with us on this mission and be a part of L'Dor Va-Dor with us. So check out our website, our Facebook page, and more of our videos on our YouTube channel. We think that we will appeal to you and your friends and family as well. Thank you to Sandy and Arnie Pickholtz for sponsoring this Shabbat in honor of their 50th wedding anniversary and Arnie's special birthday. Mazel tov on these simchas. Thank you, Arnie, for being our producer for our L'Dor Va-Dor Shabbats and all you do for us. We'd like to share some of our upcoming events and programs with you and hope that you will participate. Tomorrow morning, Saturday, March 20th at 10 a.m., we will celebrate Shabbat together in person with our Shabbat outdoors at John Prince Park in the Smythe Pavilion. Please wear a mask and bring a folding chair, and also bring some non-perishable food items to donate to those in need in our local community for our food drive. We'll have a beautiful service filled with great words and prayers and music with Rabbi Barry, cantorial soloist Carol Garrett, and many others. So join us for this special morning service and time together safely outdoors. We hope you'll be there. Tuesday, March 23rd at 7 p.m., we'll have our weekly Torah chat with two rabbis, Rabbi Barry and our guest Orthodox Rabbi Zvi Khan. This discussion is on Zoom, and hope you'll be a part of it. Next Saturday, March 27th at 10:30 a.m., we'll hold our more traditional Shabbat morning service, Siddur Essentials, led for us by educator and cantorial soloist Andrew Sussman. This Shabbat morning service will be on Zoom, and you can enjoy it from your computer or your phone. We'd love to have you join in on our Oneg Shabbat time together later this evening at our Zoom and Schmooze at 8 p.m. Join in and continue our Shabbat celebration together online face-to-face. Our website, ledorvador.org, and our email newsletter contain the links and information about all our events and programs, and we hope you'll continue to be a part of L'Dor Va-Dor. We wish you all Shabbat Shalom and a great week ahead, sending our love from L'Dor Va-Dor to you.
As we conclude our service with a final benediction, it's probably no surprise to you that I'm going to talk once again about how we can transcend our physical limitations and unite with the cosmos around us and this powerful energy that permeates all life. We can do this through music, We can do this through meditation. We can do this through contemplation. We can do this through love. We can do this through giving and being of service to others. We can do this by having purpose in our lives. But I've found, and I bet you have too, one of the best ways to connect with the power all around us and within us is through nature. Go out and enjoy nature. Join organizations that protect nature. Nature is the best evidence of a power greater than ourselves, a transcendent, numinous power. And to destroy it is sacrilege. And as we emerge from this pandemic, let us not repeat the mistakes of the past. Let us learn something and recognize that the problems of this world might have started out in China in a wet market by mistreating animals, and they come back to us. The problems are global, and the solution is global. If we all work together as one human species, we could accomplish anything. May you and I and the Jewish people help spearhead that spiritual transformation to protect this planet and all its inhabitants. Yivarecha Adonai v'yishmarecha. May you be blessed and protected in your journey through life. Ya'ech Adonai panav elecha v'choneka. May the light of love shine upon you and be emitted from you in a powerful way. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May you be lifted up by the power of love, this transcendent power. And may you also help others to achieve their potential as well in order to create a better world. Amen and Shabbat Shalom.
ברוך הגבר אשר יפתח בשם והיה שם מבטחו. 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 פררה 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 פררה.
The night has come and the land is dark and the moon is the only light I can see. No, I won't be afraid. No, I won't be afraid. Just as long as you stand by me. So darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me. If the sky that we look upon should tumble and fall, or the mountain should crumble to the sea, I won't cry, I won't cry, no, I won't shed a tear, just as long as you stand by me. So darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me.
ברוך הגבר אשר יבטח בשם והיה שם מבטחו. ברוך הגבר אשר יבטח בשם והיה שם מבטחו. ברוך הגבר אשר יפתח בשם והיה שם מבטחו.